Hello and welcome to this month's digital marketing training session. Today I'll be discussing blogging and how it can help your business create a larger digital footprint. Here's a look at our agenda for today. I'll first go over the definition of a blog and give a little history of how they started and how they've evolved over the years. Then I'll talk about the benefits that blogging can have on your business and some strategies for success. Next I'll go over some common problems that bloggers have and how you can overcome them. And I'll finish up with some best practices, tools and resources, and a review of everything that I'll cover. So let's get started with defining a blog. The textbook definition of a blog is a website containing a writer's or group of writers' own experiences, observations, opinions, etc., and often having images and links to other websites. There are a few key points I want you to take away from the definition. First, the content is written in a first-person sense, meaning how the author feels about certain events or topics. While your blog should be informative, they can also be somewhat informal. They're more like a conversation than a college research paper. Second, they often contain images. As I've discussed in previous trainings, people are visual in nature, meaning they like to look at pictures. The internet world knows this and is increasingly moving to more visual formats, making images more prominent to grab the attention of the reader. Third, the blog posts often have links to other websites. Link building, as it's called, is important because it helps boost your credibility across the web. This in turn helps boost your website on search engine results pages. To understand the importance of a company blog, you should know how blogs have evolved and grown over the years. The story of blogging starts in 1994 when Justin Hall begins writing on what is considered one of the first blogs to ever exist. And his format was that of an online diary where people would basically just write about their personal lives. This is how many of the first blogs were set up. Hall would continue his blog for 11 years. Websites like Hall's were considered online journals or diaries until 1997 when the term weblog was coined. Weblog is a shortened version of website log. Eventually, weblog would just become the word blog. That happened in 1999, which is the same year that Blogger.com was launched. Blogger was the first major blogging site that people could sign up for to start their own blogs, and it actually remains one of the top blogging sites today. In 2001, we started seeing a new type of blog, how-to articles. I'm sure most of you at some point have Googled how to do something. This was the purpose of those blogs. Experts would write about ways to solve common and sometimes uncommon problems. 2001 also saw the launch of LiveJournal, which served as a competitor to Blogger. In 2002, blog topics began to expand as political candidates used them to voice their opinions on topics in an effort to win elections. For those of you keeping track, we're now up to 3 types of blogs: personal diaries, how-to advice, and general opinion or observation. Also in 2002, Technorati, one of the first major blogging search engines, was launched. This made it easier for web surfers to find new and interesting blogs to follow. In 2003, Google bought out Blogger and WordPress was launched. WordPress is another blogging platform, but in comparison to Blogger, it offered greater customization. People with knowledge of HTML code could tweak the designs to fit their style and could also better implement search engine optimization practices. 2005 was an interesting year for the blogosphere. YouTube launched, which pulled a lot of traffic from blogs, and people started recording video versions of their blog posts, also called vlogs. Bloggers started to be recognized as news sources with authority as Garrett Graff was granted press credentials from the White House. It was reported that advertising on blogs had reached $100 million, and one of the most popular blogs ever, Huffington Post, was launched. In 2006, 12 years after the first blog was launched, Technorati reported that there were approximately 50 million blogs in existence. And in 2007, Tumblr was launched, which is considered a microblogging platform. A microblog is a kind of hybrid between a blog and Twitter. It differs from the traditional blog in that its content is typically shorter or smaller, consisting of short sentences, individual images, or video links. 2008 saw the launch of Posterius, which allowed bloggers to post updates via email or online chat, whereas before bloggers needed to sign into the blogging platform and use a text editor to write their posts. In 2009, the Universal McCann reported that 77% of internet users read blogs, and Technorati reported that 28% of bloggers were making money from their blogs. That figure jumped to 35% just 1 year later. 2010 also saw the rise of what's called mom bloggers, or stay-at-home moms who share recipes, product reviews, and parenting tips. In 2011, blog traffic started to dip as social networks became increasingly popular, especially with the release of Google+. In 2012, Huffington Post was sold for over $300 million, proving just how powerful good blogs can be. It was also estimated that there were 31 million bloggers in the USA alone and over 42 million blogs across the internet. It was also reported that 60% of businesses had a blog. More data was released in 2013. 81% of U.S. consumers said that they trusted information and advice from blogs, 61% made a purchase because of a blog's recommendation, and companies that blog received 97% more inbound links or people linking to their blog. Additionally, small businesses that blog achieve 126% more lead growth than those that do not. And bringing you up to date, WordPress announced this year that their platform alone has 63 million blogs. Paid advertising is on the rise, resulting in bloggers earning more money than ever, and blogs are starting to see increased activity as bloggers learn to incorporate a social media strategy with their writing. Okay, now let's talk about the 5 main ways that people use blogs. The first are corporate or business blogs. These blogs are written by a company for its consumers or stakeholders. They're often found on the main company website or as a subdirectory. Topics vary across the board from news and announcements to product information and even community relations efforts. This is probably how most of you will be using your blog. Next are the personal bloggers that started the blogging craze. These blogs are more of a personal online diary with the primary function of sharing their lives and experiences with friends and family. Next are hobby or interest blogs. These are focused around a certain theme that can be professional or personal. Professional examples would be tech blogs or the iBoomerang marketing blog, while personal focus more on things like fashion, sports, and celebrity gossip. The fourth type are income or professional blogs. These are people who write for money. Their income could be generated from ads, affiliate sales, product reviews, and many other means of income. The key point is that these blogs earn the writers a paycheck. And finally are community blogs, which consist of what's often called hyperlocal news. These blogs cover news related to a particular neighborhood or localized group of people. Now that you know how people use blogs, let's talk about the benefits a blog can have on your business. First is the boost to your search engine optimization. Search engines like Google love fresh new content. By blogging consistently, you'll give the search engines new content to index and internet users more opportunities to find you. Second is brand awareness. Blogging gives people the chance to see the personal side of your business that they don't get from the outbound marketing efforts. You can show off your corporate standards, vision, and personality. Authority. Establish your business as an industry leader. Even the smallest of businesses can build trust and clout within your industry by providing valuable expert information on your blog. You'll eventually become a go-to resource, which can lead to higher customer conversion rates. Next is traffic. As I discussed before, the higher you appear in search engine rankings, the more traffic you'll get to your website. Leads. Quite simply, the more people you get into your store, the greater the chance of making a sale. The same idea applies on the internet. Be sure to include lead-generating calls to actions, like offering a free consultation or trial and offer for contact information. Blogging helps develop relationships with potential and existing customers because your writing can foster conversation. When you respond to readers' comments or questions, you'll build a rapport with your audience and gain valuable insight into what they're looking for. A blog is a great place to capture reader contact information and build your email database. When a customer opts into your blog, you can email them when each new post is made and feed returning traffic to your blog. Blogs create opportunities for sharing. Each post is a chance for your audience to interact and share it via linking, tweeting, emailing, or other methods. Extra money. As I've mentioned before, there is the potential to make extra money with your blog. The key is to build enough traffic to sell advertising space. And finally, long-term results. Unlike with paid advertising, you'll receive results from a blog post long after it's posted because people are always using search engines to find answers to their questions. Okay, now let's talk about starting and building a blog. If you'll recall back to my previous trainings, there's a 5-step process to create a strategy for each of the digital marketing channels. If this is your first training session with me or you just want a reminder, all of these trainings are recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. I encourage you to look back at those for the full explanation of the process. So step 1 is to set goals. You really need to ask yourself why you want to publish a blog. What do you want to accomplish? It could be that you want to generate leads or just build your reputation. Whatever the reason, figuring it out first will help you throughout the rest of this 5-step process. Step 2 is to develop your channel, in this case your blog. You should start doing some research about your audience, what they're interested in, as well as your competitors and keywords that you want to and can include in your content. It's also a good idea to create an editorial calendar. Write out when you'll post, date and time, as well as the topics. Try to keep some sort of a variety to keep your audience interested. Then you'll want to actually start building your blog. Choose a blogging platform and get a web address. If you own your own website, it's a good idea to add it as a subdirectory or subdomain so that your URL is blog.yourwebsite.com and not britneysblog.wordpress.org. Then set up your blog by choosing an attractive design, building out navigation, and setting up categories. You'll also want to decide who will be blogging if you're not doing it yourself and plan a promotion campaign to let your current customers know about your new blog. Now you can start creating your content. Put those fingertips to work. What I've found is that it's easiest to start with the basics. Create About Us and Contact Us pages and write about each of your products. Then think about your customers' most commonly asked questions and blog the answers. Once you get into the writing motion, you'll realize it's easier than you might think. Remember, there is almost always industry news you can write about, and if you're really looking to generate traffic, hold some contests where people submit entries through your blog. Step 4 is to build your audience. Most of this will happen on its own, and you just have to be patient. Be sure to focus on quality over quantity. It's better to blog 3 times each week with more relevant content than it is to post 2 times every day about stuff that appears to be spam. You can also cross-promote. Share your blog posts on social media and make it easy for your audience to subscribe to an email marketing list. You can also get your name out there by guest blogging and commenting on other blogs. And finally, step 5 is to analyze your results. Make sure you have Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools set up and keep track of key metrics. Determine if you met your goals that you set up in step 1. If you did, that's great. Make some new ones. If not, try to figure out what went wrong and then tweak your goal and try again. Now let's talk about how your blog plays into the traditional sales funnel. Again, I discussed this more in depth on previous trainings, so be sure to check out our YouTube channel if you're new. The first level is awareness, which is achieved through visibility and engagement. To get people into this level, you need to build out your blog and cross-promote. You want people to know that you exist. Next is the interest level, where you engage your audience. This is done by creating useful and relevant content. If your posts are valuable to the reader, they'll keep coming back, i.e., be interested in you and your brand. In the desire part of the funnel, the customer is wanting something from you. This is usually done by offering specialty content that the reader cannot get anywhere else. In exchange for this special content, the reader must give you their contact information. So building out landing pages that offer something like a free consultation with a form that captures their information. Now that you've collected their information and know what they want, the customer moves into the action part of the funnel. This is where you reach out to them and make the sale. Show them how you can help them and turn this lead into a customer. The last part of the funnel is the advocacy level. You need to analyze your results. Did you make the sale? Why or why not? How can you improve the process to make the sale? You also need to continue to be engaging so your customer becomes an advocate for your brand. That is, they start sending referrals your way because you helped them and are trustworthy. Believe it or not, even though there are millions of blogs and bloggers out there, most of them share some common problems. You will likely experience a few, if not all, of these problems at some point. Problem number 1, you're not sure what to write about. Writer's block. This can be a really tough issue to overcome. The best thing to do is to plan ahead by making that editorial calendar. This way you already know what you're going to write about on a given day and you don't have to think about it in the moment. The next best thing to do is find current industry news and write your opinion about it. The key is to stay creative and think like your customers. Problem 2. You don't have the time. Writing can take up a lot of your time, but it doesn't have to. Again, plan ahead using an editorial calendar. Consider hiring someone to write for you. There are plenty of freelance writers out there, or maybe you know someone who needs writing experience and could use the extra work. If you know any other industry professionals, ask them to guest blog. Is it easier for you to make a video or infographic? Create that content and just write a brief paragraph summary about whatever it is. Problem 3. You're missing traffic, subscribers, and/or comments. First of all, you have to be patient. It's likely it will take 6 months of consistent blogging before you see real results. In the meantime, make sure you're following good SEO practices so your content ranks high. You can also write about trending or controversial topics. Get your name and blog out there by guest blogging and commenting, and be sure to cross-promote your blog across other marketing channels. Problem number 4. You're not generating revenue. Again, this will take patience. You first need to build a good base to your blog before you can apply to host advertising. Then you need to make sure you build a good following and reputation. The more interesting your blog appears, the easier it will be to sell advertising space. Problem number 5. You're really bad at writing. Writing is a talent that you either have or you don't, and if you don't, can you hire someone to write or edit your blogs? Can you take classes, or do you know someone that's willing to teach you? There are also plenty of resources online to help you out. Okay, now let's go over some blogging best practices. First, research your focus, audience, tone, and style. Make sure you're interesting to your readers. Second, decide on a schedule and stick to it. You have to be committed to this blog. If you start and stop all of the time, this won't work for you. Next, put a lot of effort into your blog design. Make sure it's easy for your readers to share your blog posts. Learn some basic HTML. Trust me, you'll better understand SEO, blogging, and websites if you can do basic coding. There are plenty of resources online to help you out. Be sure to keep a consistent logo, colors, and fonts. This will help people recognize your brand. When you're writing, avoid plagiarism. It's not ethical, and your site can actually be penalized by search engines for practicing it. If you're using images from the internet, make sure they're copyright free or you credit them correctly. You can get into trouble for stealing images and graphics. If you aren't sure, simply email the source and ask if you can use it. Most of the time, they'll let you. And fight against spam. You should set up your blog so that you have to approve every comment. Trust me, you'll get a lot of spam comments and you don't want those to appear on your site. Here are some tools and resources to get you started. First, I've got links to the major blogging platforms. Make sure you research each one and find the one that works the best for you. I've also listed links for Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools to help with your SEO. Jetpack is an add-on that works with WordPress, and it will give you a ton of information and tools to help you build your blog. There are a few top blogs to check out to see what's working well for them, and then some additional resources. W3 Schools has a ton of information and tutorials over HTML coding, and the iBoomerang blog, run by yours truly, offers basic marketing tools and tips. Now for what I want you to take away from today's training. I want you to know what a blog is and its function, that there are over 700 million blogs in existence, that blogs serve many purposes from business to personal, that there are many benefits to blogging for your business, that the key to a great blog is relevant and useful content, and that it takes time and patience to see results. And just to review what we discussed, I defined a blog and its purpose, the history of blogging, the benefits of blogging, how to build a blog marketing plan, some common problems and how to overcome them, some best practices, and gave you some tools and resources to get started. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks!